Mm. Oh boy.
I knew there was a reason why I like Stephen King. Donald Trump is the worst than any horror story I have ever written.
Ray Magliozzi here. eBay Motors has the right parts at the right prices. So you need headlights and a bumper. At least you can skip the car wash. For parts that fit your vehicle, look for the green check. That's right. The ADT Safety Days event. Get up to 30% off your system, featuring Google Nest Mods. Get ADT self-setup with no long-term contracts and free shipping. Or let our security experts install your system for convenience and peace of mind. Click now and save up to 30%. So Microsoft has mostly jumped on the anti-emulation bandwagon. And upload emulators. So it gets better. Let's get back to the story. It would appear that this didn't last long. The group that was having a Patreon for $2 a month, I can't believe they were trying to make money off of an emulator to be on a company's console, but okay. As Microsoft has now started cracking down.
A Scooby-Doo meets Crypto the Superdog movie. What? Okay.
Huh? There's no enough for people out there, right? Yeah.
That's a combination I wasn't.
No one asked for this.
Yes, right? It's one of those Warner Brothers, like, you're chasing money again. Naughty Warner Brothers.
Chasing money. Literally, no one asked for this.
Yes, but that's what happens when you chase money, bro. You make things that people don't ask for.
Yes. When you did Scooby-Doo and Courage the Cowardly Dog, you actually made a movie that people wanted to see. And inadvertently eviscerated Courage the Cowardly Dog and argued with its continuity, but we don't talk about that.
Oh no, we're sealed in! All you have to do is unmask this, and before all these out-of-control villains destroy the world.
By the way, a Nimbus is supposed to heal people. Durr.
Yes, they have a shoot things mode and a healing bullet.
Class.
Alright, you have to look for clues.
What's the point?
I mean, it only has offensive capabilities because that's what makes it unique. But you are supposed to be healing people.
Super duper. Super. Where's a good boy? Where's a good boy?
Okay, if you have Scooby talking, but Crypto can't talk.
But Crypto can't.
What?
You already ruined it. You already ruined it. Or you better have some damn good, the best comedic writers that can do that on that staff. Because if you don't, this is going to be like, why did you not get the guy who voiced Crypto in the animated series?
Right.
Lazy bastards.
On today's episode of the John Candy Podcast, yeah, remember how like 3 weeks ago I started watching the show Suits? You're welcome, Suits, because now it's the #1 streaming show of all time. What? Anyway, also, hey, with the
I
actor strike
already
going
don't
on,
have
should
an
social
interest
media
in this movie
influencers
because
not
it's
go to
not
premieres
geared
and
for
promote
me.
Hollywood events right now in
For
solidarity with
one,
the actors?
it's not for a
Secret Invasion is
31-year-old
now
man.
officially
This
the
is for a
lowest
fucking
rated
12-year-old.
Marvel series on Disney Plus, becoming the first series
Like,
to get
how
a
do you
Rotten score.
expect to
Also,
entertain the
Donald
kids?
Glover, it's now been confirmed, is writing the new Star Wars Lando series.
Put over their license plate and I identify as registered.
I love Twisted Metal. I'd probably even put it in my top 10 gaming franchises of all time. But keep in mind, when I say Twisted Metal, I mean Twisted Metal 1, 2, Head On, and Black. Entries like Small Brawl and 2012 are just not a part of the Twisted Metal storyline. And Twisted Metal 3 and 4 are abominations. What do we always say, sir? Liberty Mutual customers is opinion. Now, you've noticed I said the Twisted Metal storyline. And for those of you familiar with the series, you might be saying, well, sure, some characters have jumped between games, but they're not all connected. And that's what this video is about. I'm going to explain as if those watching are brand new to the series. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about the main characters that do connect all 4 games together. So with that said, let's dive into what Twisted Metal is about. With 8 games released across 17 years, a one-shot comic from DC Comics, and a TV show releasing soon which looks just awesome, Twisted Metal puts you behind the wheel of many different vehicles being patrolled by many eccentric drivers as they kill their way through the yearly Twisted Metal tournament, which is held across many different battlegrounds. The lucky driver who wins the tournament will be granted a single wish by the all-powerful Calypso, regardless of price, size, or even reality. The first Twisted Metal was released in 1995 by Singletrack and consisted of 12 playable characters fighting across 6 different levels. But we only need to discuss a handful of the characters when discussing Twisted Metal's overarching storyline. The character we're actually going to start with is not Sweet Tooth. Do need him later, but not right now. We are actually going to start with Mr. Ash. Mr. Ash is the driver of a GMC General Assembly truck nicknamed Darkside. He is described as a ravenous creature who wants to get back what is rightfully his. He's hoping Calypso can help him retrieve an item so powerful it can destroy the world. Upon completing the tournament, Mr. Ash meets with Calypso, who is not happy to see him. It turns out Mr. Ash's wish is to have his demon named Black returned to him after Calypso stole to use its powers. After Black flies into Mr. Ash's body, he leaves to return to Hell while Calypso screams in agony. This story will become fairly similar in future games to the final boss of Twisted Metal, Minion. Minion is the name of the LAV 300 tank driven by an unknown driver. All that is known about Minion in the first game is that he was the winner of the previous year's tournament. But I have to mention him now because he does come up again later. The next character we need to talk about when discussing the first game is in fact the mascot of the entire series, Sweet Tooth, which is a Chevrolet Step Van ice cream truck driven by the murderous clown Needles Kane. His bio reads as an escaped mental patient. Sweet Tooth is a man on a mission. He has entered Twisted Metal in hopes of getting the one prize that means more to him than anything else in the world, his best friend. I know you're probably on the edge of your seat right now wondering, who's his best friend? Why hasn't played the whole story? But I am absolutely happy to disappoint you because nothing about Sweet Tooth in the first game is important for our storyline. The final important character in the first Twisted Metal we need to discuss is Yellow Jacket, the checkered marathon taxi driven by Charlie King. He is described as an old and lonely cab driver from the streets of New York. He has entered Calypso's contest to learn what happened to his son, a young man who disappeared 20 years ago. Now, as if the twist isn't obvious enough, based on just the names alone, when you win the tournament and meet with Calypso, it is confirmed that Charlie's Kane's son is Needles Kane, driver of Sweet Tooth. Charlie is anguished by this news, and at the thought of having killed his son to win the tournament, and speeds off into the night thinking about entering next year's tournament with the wish of easing his suffering. Now you'll notice something right there that I just said that me it doesn't seem right. Talking about killing Sweet Tooth. The problem with Twisted Metal as a long form story is that your characters have to die every game. Technically, only one character should survive each game. If you have all these people in Sweet Tooth in game 1, and Sweet Tooth is in game 2, none of the other characters in the first game should be there. But that's just not the Twisted Metal way. So if you can just turn that part of your brain off, moving forward, we can get back to the one major storyline. So let us move right along to Twisted Metal 2, which was released by Single Track in 1996 and is called The Perfect Twisted Metal by series co-creator David Jaffe. It features 14 playable characters and 8 levels, with 3 more hidden levels for use exclusively in multiplayer mode. The game is set 1 year after the first, where Christmas Eve is soon approaching, and thus it will soon be time for another Twisted Metal tournament. But unlike last year, which took place across different areas of Los Angeles, Calypso wants to expand the fighting into different countries from across the world.